Well, as I've said later last week, I think we're ready to play somebody. We've gone now 3 weeks, 3+ weeks going against each other. And now it's time to find out where we're at. We're getting ready to play what I would see is a very good Texas State team. I know last year record-wise, probably isn't indicative of the type of team they had, lost a lot of close games, and probably have, 12 or 13 senior starters. Coaching staff has now been there 3 years, so it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us Saturday night.
Still same situation, just 3 guys compete. I noticed on the depth chart you have 3 guys listed there and all have or by their name. It's going to be the same situation going in?
Yes.
How would you say the chemistry that the quarterbacks of whoever's starting has that chemistry built with the receivers at this point?
Oh, some days I think it's real good, some days I don't think it's worth the darn, but we're getting there. I think the biggest thing is we've got so many young guys playing a receiver now that it's hard to build that chemistry. They're struggling to be efficient with every type of route and combination, and then looks you get from the defense. So as they get better, our quarterbacks will get better, and that rapport will be better.
Is there anybody that you see in the receiving corps, 1 or 2 guys that can be a go-to guy, or is there not going to be such a thing?
I think we have some guys that can be go-to guys. Guys that have had, Ricky Bradley's had a really good camp, T-Man's had a good camp. And there's been a lot of guys, a lot of young guys that have shown flashes. Really what we're looking for is as much consistency as we can get, what we can count on. Usually with young players, especially receivers, they're better with the ball in their hands than they are at route running. It comes natural to them, certain guys. That's not true with everybody. With some of our guys, that's the way it is. So until we get them up to speed route running wise, and some of those things they're better if you can get the ball in their hands quickly.
You mentioned earlier in the summer that the running backs are really going to be kind of the key to this offense. Is that still the case at this point?
It has to be. They're the guys that have played the most experience. They've been banged up a little bit, so we're hopeful we'll be at full strength come Saturday night. But we've got some talented guys, that some that are really good in space, some that are downhill runners. So we'll have to do a good job of getting the right guys on the field at the right time.
With the quarterbacks, what do you need to see that you haven't seen yet to be comfortable with one guy over the other?
Oh, I'm comfortable with one guy. I'm just not going to announce it. So we're at that point yet. We're at that point. It does us no good to announce it, and I don't even know if it does us good to announce it. I can't tell you if it's good or bad. I'm just not going to do it. So I don't think they're going to change what they do against us. I wouldn't think so. But there's no sense in divulging who that is or what their skill set may be.
Kind of the same situation with the quarterbacks, the running backs. You have or on the depth chart. But do you see one as maybe one that can exploit the defense that Texas State runs more than the others?
No.
Has there been anything that's stood out to you in your film study, get prepared for Texas State, that you guys have to be maybe more sound than somewhere else?
Not really. I've known a number of their coaches for some time, and I think they're going to do what they do best. That's how you become a good coach. You believe in something, and that's, whether it's offensively or defensively, that's what you hang your hat on. And so I don't anticipate something that we won't see. Sure, the things you gather from the off-season or opponent film, but the reality is they've got to do what they do best. We have to do what we do best, and then we see where we stand. So I think they've got really good coaches. I think they've got really good players that believe in their system. They've recruited to it for the last 3 years. That's really going to be the challenge more than anything is that experience in the same system, and guys that play hard and are excited about their team moving forward, which they are.
How many, how deep of a rotation would you like to have at receiver?
Well, you have to have enough guys to sub in and out, and when you're going with tempo, everybody's got to have a backup, and they've got to play one position. You can't switch them. You'll get caught with 10 guys on the field. So you better be 8 deep, and you better have 8 guys you like going the game. Are we at 8 yet? I don't know, but there'll be 8 that are going to be ready to play.
You talked about the team's excitement level for the first game. Your first game as a head coach at the college level. What's your feeling, your excitement level?
Really, to be honest, there's only a few times that's come up where I've thought about what I'm going to say to the team beforehand. I know it came on the other night. TV show, and I saw, yeah, the head coach said something to the team beforehand, I thought, it's gotta be me or coming up, so. I really haven't given it much thought. Sure, it's exciting. I mean, of course it is, take the field for the first time. Is there anxiety? Of course there is, somewhat of the unknown. Have I called an offense before? Yes. Have I made every decision in a game? No. So of course, there's gonna be situations that come up for the first time where you're gonna have to make decisions, whether it's going for it on fourth down or anything that you do, when you take a timeout, how aggressive you are in a 2-minute situation. All those situations will come up now. I decide that, so it'll be interesting.
Is Cole Weeks on scholarship yet?
You put him on scholarship. Cole Weeks on scholarship.
How long ago did y'all do that?
Started camp.
Started camp.
Mhm.
And kind of where did that come from? I mean, where did you, I mean.
Well,
just-
he'd earned it.
Yeah.
He put himself in position to be our starter. And so when you put yourself in position to be a starter and you let all the summer workouts and you have one available, then that's when you decide to put him on scholarship.
You've coached in the same part of the country as Coach Franchione, I guess, a lot. Do you have any kind of history with him, or what do you know about his types of teams?
Well, I mean, I don't have a history with him, but he was at A&M, took over the A&M job when I was at Oklahoma State. And when you're in the coaching profession, I mean, from afar, you watch, I mean, what's so interesting is that, what the people will, think of now is maybe A&M. But the reality is that guy's been in a lot of jobs and won a lot of games. He's a really good football coach. His son's part of his staff and did a great job at Blinn. So, I mean, I come from a coaching family, so, I understand that. But he has done a great job. I think Texas State ought to be thrilled to death they have him as their head football coach, because he is a tremendous football coach and a great ambassador to the sport. I'm not just saying that. He doesn't need to hear that from me, but I really believe that.
I know your focus is mainly on the offense, but on the defensive side, Michael Smith, the young sophomore at defensive end, what does it say about him, for him to be so young but be starting at the position?
He's a good player. He's a great kid, so, I mean, we expect really good things from him. And he just complements, obviously, our two interior guys that are really good.
Coach, it's been a while since they've played outside competition, and you have a young team. Do you expect them to have any pregame jitters that you're gonna have to get worked out throughout the first quarter?
God, I hope so. I have pregame jitters. I hope our players have pregame jitters. I hope they're excited, a little bit nervous, a little bit excited. That all comes with it, But that's the fun of competition, Some of that, some of it's good. Too much of it, from a worry end, then it's not. But from a excitement, just a little nervous, I mean, that's normal. It has been with me, so unless I'm abnormal. That's what's been for me.
There's been times people say, well, the defense is ahead of the offense, or this or that. I mean, where would you say things stand right now as far as your team, what you see in
I don't know.
scrimmages?
I think it's all coming together at a pretty good time. I think that offensively, we've gotten better as the old line has gotten better, and as the quarterback play has gotten better, and the receiver play has gotten better, because you're talking about a lot of guys that hadn't played a lot. Hard to say with the running backs because we've been in and out of practice, and that's been probably pretty steady, but we've gotten better as we've been able to obviously control the guys up front. So, and I'm not saying we're there yet. Every day we're going to improve, because you're talking about a lot of guys on our side, particularly, and some guys on defense that are just starting to play, So every practice they're going to get better. Every day they're going to get better.
Coach, you said the defense is gonna be the strength of this team this year. How do you think they match up against the Texas State offense?
I think they match up fine. They'll match up against anybody we play fine, because we're good up front. When you're good up front, you can match up against people, as long as you can hold your own up front. And I think we're good up front. So I think we've got guys up front that can play. Now we got to find more guys to rotate. As teams are running no huddle, you can't have just the same guys play every snap. But I think that gives you a chance when you've got experience and you're good up front.
You mentioned Holmes as potentially a go-to guy on offense. I mean, has he surprised y'all with how he caught on so quickly in the offense?
Probably how he caught on. He's done a great job of studying and working through the summer. He did a great job. You can just feel him being attentive. It's one thing to, when you recruit somebody, to recruit them and say, you have a chance to play as a freshman, and then have someone come in and make a decision that's really what they want. And he's done that. Everybody says that, but are they really willing to commit to what it takes to work, to study, to focus, to do it. Because it's more than just running around and being a good athlete. That alone just gets you beat, but he's done a great job of those things, and that's a testament to him.
Right, coming in, he had never really played receiver much, and he was a quarterback in high school. And so, I mean, was there some hesitation, or, I mean, surprise, really, that he showed that he could come out here and contribute as a receiver?
There are certain things that you're surprised by. Certain parts of the athleticism, no, because you can see that on film. Certain parts of body control and route running and awareness, yes. In terms of his ability to dedicate himself to not making as many mistakes as a freshman would that kills you, yes. So to answer your question, a bunch of parts, yes. I mean, there's certain things, yes. Some of the other athleticism, no, because we thought maybe he'd be a corner. So we just said, well, why don't we see how he works offensively to begin with, and then we can go from there. So, and he wanted to play on offense. I mean, he wanted a chance to catch the ball, get the ball in his hands.
Not to look too far ahead, but with 3 tough non-conference games after this one, how important is 1-0?
Not looking too far ahead, and then you brought up 3 non-conference games. I'm really not worried at all about the non-conference games. Again, I haven't looked at all at Nebraska, Arkansas boys yet. I have no idea. We'll actually we'll have film on them just like they will on us. I mean, is it really important? Of course, for a number of reasons. I've said it before. Tough year last year, that's one. 2 is a new staff, right? The first impression. We don't come home for another month, so it's important that when we do come back, that what our fans remember is a product that we put on the field. And then just because you want to get off to a good start. I mean, you just do. And you're at home, and if you want to be a really good football team, you win at home. That's what you do. So that's just where we're at.